Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Back in like 1987, that's the year he had a supplemental draft, and that's the year that Brian Bosworth actually came out to got drafted in supplemental draft by the Seattle Seahawks. And you're asking, oh, what are you bringing up this bust, Brian Bosworth, and stuff like that? I'm bringing this up because, and let's clear the air with some of this. To be perfectly honest with you, Brian Bosworth really wasn't a bust. He may call himself a bust when they had the little thing with him on ESPN and stuff like that, but he wasn't. The guy was really a good linebacker. He was doing some good things. His shoulder was jacked up, and he never could recover. So you could say he's a bust from that. But to say he couldn't play, no, he could play. He just shoulder went out on him, and that's that. Just like guys' knees go out on them, and that's that. Now, if you can't play like a Ryan Leaf or several other busts that you've had come down the line, I'm talking about who can't play at all on the next level, and that's one thing, but not really a bust. And you saying, why am I bringing this up talking about Brian Bosworth? Because see, Brian Bosworth, when he came out of college, he was number 44. You go back and look at any film, you'll find out that during the preseason of the 1987 season, Brian Bosworth was wearing number 44. But then the NFL says you can't wear that number in the NFL. We'll give it to you right now for preseason. So then he changed his number to number 55 when it came to the regular season. Now look at the NFL over the past 2 3 years now. You have a rack of your linebackers wearing the number 40, 45, 46, 48, 47. They're wearing these numbers. These are numbers that you would wear in college as well as in high school because a lot of guys who played linebacker in high school, they also played fullback or some type of tailback or some type of uh, back as well as playing. They went two ways, and then when they went on to college football, they kept their running back type number because they was a running back as well as a linebacker. Well, you're starting to see this in football, which brings me to my topic is professional football turning into college football. Now, I touched on this a little bit when we talked about Lamar Jackson. Okay, when we talked about Lamar Jackson and we talk about dual threat quarterbacks in college and and all that stuff. The point I'm making is that you go into the NFL and these guys, what are they running? A lot of them, you go like Cam Newton, that big 60 some odd yard run that he had. That was what they call it. You got your RPOs and all the different things they call it and stuff like that. Zone read. It's option football. It's like playing against the option. Anybody that was in high school at a certain time ran against the veer, the option, or whatever and stuff like that, where you read off at the defensive end as a quarterback, and and you told on defense that the quarterback, okay, N has a quarterback. The dive man is the linebacker. Pitch man, if there's pitch man's cornerback, and you scraping linebacker, you got dive as well as you got you got the dive man, and you got who's going to get the ball, and the safety comes up, and all of that good stuff. You taught all of that type of stuff. The zone read is being ran in pro football all the time. It was a time when you could not run a veer or anything of the option any close. It was just an anomaly. It would come off you just to trick somebody real quick. You do it because all of your major option quarterbacks didn't go to the next level. They didn't play at the next level because they felt, you can't do that. Now it's in the league because the way the league is now, it's wide open. And that's why I say it's like that. Zone reads, the RPOs, run past option. These are terms that wasn't in the NFL just 5 6 years ago. It wasn't in the NFL. So now you look at guys like, let's say Cam Newton, 6 7 years ago when Cam Newton came in. Well, a dual threat quarterback, and you can take full advantage of a person of that caliber that's able to do that. And like I said, you look at the players in the game and look at the number changes. Look at it because linebackers, if you play linebacker in the NFL, you played at in fit you your number, especially if it's an inside linebacker, in the 50s, outside as well. You have a couple of guys that was in the 90s. 50s and 90s was your was your linebacker numbers. Now they're in the 40s and 50s, and then you throw the 90s up in there. You follow what I'm saying? Especially there. Now, over the past couple of years, you've been having the whole thing about the, you know, uh, having the low numbers for the wide receivers that you'll find a lot of times in college football as well. But this is what I'm talking about. And that's why I say it's going to be an era of time where the dual threat quarterback, because tackling is not that great in the NFL. Tackling hasn't been great in professional football in quite some time. Guys go for a big hit, I get that, but you got to still. It's about tackling and getting the guy down to the ground. And if you don't know responsibilities, if you never really was coached that great against the option in high school, going into college, they bring it in the pros. Here we go. Those guys. It's every time a guy runs that zone read is always open because the defensive end, his job is to stay at home and take the quarterback. He always crashes down to the back. Always. When his responsibility is the quarterback. Sometimes they won't even block him because they know he's going to be, because he doesn't know his responsibility, because these guys have not been coached on what you're supposed to do in these instances. And that's why this is coming over into that of pro football. It's there. And if the defense doesn't do anything about it, he's going to keep having this happen until some defensive guru comes in and says, look, we got to get back to basics. And that's literally what you have to do. So it's easy to see how these guys are coming in. Like I said, the dual threat quarterback is here to stay. You have to move the chain to get closer to that end zone, to get into the end zone. So they're here to stay. So athletic quarterbacks who can do both, throw the ball, run the ball, and extend the play, like an Aaron Rodgers who can extend the play. You know, but to run that zone read, hey man, it's there every time. How are you not going to not run that particular play when it can get you 15 to 20 yards? In the case of Cam, over 60 yards. Cam had an earlier run this year like that. It's there. Oh yeah, he can throw the ball, but if you're thinking about it, Carolina don't really have a deep threat. They let Glenn go, and then they let the Benjamin go over to Buffalo. So he doesn't really have a deep threat. So he's going to run that. It's there for him to run. That's why I say the quarterback can either end up throwing for 3,000 and rushing for 1,000 yards. I'm looking for that to come up. It's come close. To say, oh, Michael Vick, well, he did 2,000 some odd yards passing. But the team wasn't much of it. Like I said, Cam is the closest and done the things that he's done. So like I said, the game has came over and has literally integrated into the professional football because that's just where it is now. And teams are taking full advantage of this because they know that the defensive end is going to come crashing down on the running back every time. Linebacker job and safety job is to come up because you only have two people going to be handling the ball. At that time, you got the quarterback, you got the running back, and then the quarterback. Really, the quarterback, then if he's going to hand it to the running back, then it's the quarterback himself. Either he's going to hand it or he's going to either keep it. And it's the defensive end or outside linebacker's job to sit up there and do that. And they don't do that. That's why coaches are taking full advantage of this. It's just that simple. Until they get to a point of knocking that quarterback out, it's going to still always be open. You follow? So yeah, so it literally is integrated into the league. Whether or not anybody want to admit to it or not, man, that's neither here nor there. But that is going on right now. And that's why it's successful. And that's why these quarterbacks coming out right now. You can run that read option as well as throw the football down the field. You got a job. Or but of course, I've already talked about this before. They don't really want that happening because we all know who's the majority of the people that's at the quarterback position or that runs that particular type of offense, or who's the dual threat quarterback. Not trying to make it a racial. It just is what it is. It's not a racial thing. It's just that's what it is. Your best dual threat quarterbacks are that of African American, Nubian, black quarterback. Those are your best dual threat quarterbacks. and the league is turning into that. So they got to get ready for this. You follow what I'm saying? So, like I said, check me out on Everything Football number 62. Um, Subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate the subscriptions. Check us out. Check me out at Everything Football 62 on Twitter, Man 62. You can follow me. And like I said, over on YouTube, start some dialogue, subscribe. You got anything that you disagree with, we can sit up there and have a chat about it with the comments. And you bring your knowledge, I bring my knowledge. And you'll see what I'm talking about, or I see what you're talking about. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a good one. Thanks.